I had no idea that putting sound deadening like this inside the cab of my truck could make me and my passengers sick. Now I know, and now you know, but it's time to do something about it. Stick around. Oh! This kind of sound deadening that I put inside the cab of my truck is asphalt based. It's bad news because when the floor and the transmission tunnel get hot from the engine's exhaust, it gives off fumes. And those fumes can be very, very harmful to your lungs. And this stuff can actually catch fire. And that's the last thing that we want. So I got to get it out of here. I found out by posting a video all about how I had come up with a solution that I thought was a really, really great idea. It was cheap, it was easy, it was fast, and I shared it with a whole bunch of people. 75,000 people saw this on Instagram.
All right, got a little bit of a hack for you guys. If you want to do some sound deadening and do it inexpensively, go to your local home improvement store. It works great.
And at the time, I had no idea. So I ended up taking the video down, and a company called SecondSkin reached out to me and said, Flannel, if you're willing to take the nasty stuff out of your cab, we'll send you the proper stuff that you do want in your cab, but you can't leave this stuff in. You can't go over the top of it. You got to rip it out. I hate doing work twice, but I got to. I got to get this stuff out. So, yeah, this is going to suck. Yeah. This is room temperature. Right now it's 62 degrees inside the shop, and yeah, this stuff hangs on real tight. It's been in here about a week and a half, and you can tell because it's asphalt, it's gonna fight every step of the way. I just pressed it down by hand, but I fully expect it to probably peel off the paint that I had painted on the floor. I might also try using some dry ice. That's actually how I get sound deadening that's factory off of floors, but again, that's butyl, which is actually the safe stuff. It's not asphalt, so I'm not sure, but I really want to do something. Some of you might be wondering, dude, why go with sound deadening at all? You know, you're just adding weight to your car. Well, that is true. And, you know, for some people, any amount of weight at all is a bad idea. Particularly truckers or things like that, where they have to watch their empty weights really closely. Race cars, same situation. For me, I'm less concerned about the weight of this particular build. It's already super light. I wanted something primarily for a thermal barrier. That's why I was excited about the aluminized surface that this stuff had on it. The sound deadening qualities were kind of a secondary benefit to me. I was primarily after the insulation factor and the fact that it's waterproof, so it's going to keep out any water and moisture and things like that. To me, it was like killing 3 birds with 1 stone. But, yeah, I find out now, after the fact, this stuff is not the right type of material that I want to have in my cab. So, all right. I think I might drive this thing outside, let it sit. It's going to be down into the 20s, 30s overnight, and I think that's going to be the fastest, easiest way to get this stuff down to temperature, and hopefully it'll peel off easier. I don't think heat is going to help me. I think heat is actually going to work against me. So I'm going to try cold first because it's faster and easier. So I'm going to fire this thing up, back it out of the shop, let it sit overnight, and try it tomorrow and see if that piece starts coming out even easier. Got to try something. Now, if you're not familiar with our project or you're new to the channel, this is the father-son project that my boys and I are building. It's our 79 F-150 that we body swapped onto a Ford Crown Victoria. I think I'm just going to leave this thing sitting here overnight, and we'll work on it tomorrow after it's had some time to cool off. Alright, so with the truck having sat outside for about 2 days, it's about 34 degrees outside, 32 degrees. Obviously, it snowed a little bit, even in Minnesota in the springtime. But we're back inside. we're gonna open this thing up. I'm gonna try and see if just having the cold weather is going to help me pull some of this stuff off. If it doesn't, I have a secret weapon. This is something that SecondSkin actually gave me an email with a few helpful tips and tricks, and we're gonna try something that I've heard of working before, but this is gonna be my first time actually using it this way. Let's give it a shot. Here we go. Ugh, that is still really strong. So let's try our secret life hack method. All right, so what we're dealing with is dry ice, and this is one of those things that I don't have a ton of experience with. I've done this maybe once or twice. So what I understand, and I could be wrong about this, but the idea is that by mixing these two ingredients, you're basically making liquid nitrogen, and you're going to contain it within the bags and be able to move the bags from one spot of the floor to another. The super cooling effect will make it so that you can basically smack this old peel and seal asphalt with a hammer. It'll shatter, and you can just vacuum up the pieces. That's the goal. That's what I'm hoping for. It's going to save a whole ton of time if this actually works the way that I'm told that it works. So the way that I've done this in the past was just spreading out chunks of dry ice on the floor and just leaving it sit directly on, and we may end up having to do that. I don't have experience using the isopropyl alcohol, but we're going to give it a shot. So there's our dry ice. Whoa, cool, huh? Whoa, whoa. Yeah! Science! I forgot not to seal it. I sealed it without even thinking about it, but what do you think about that? All right, so we're trying to kind of contain what's happening here. How cool is that? All right, put that in the bag. So I have 3 of the bags that have liquid in them, and then I have some more chunks that are just regular dry ice, and I'm kind of moving stuff around here a little bit, and I just want to start smacking and hitting with my mallet. Let's see if this works. That's at least helping the foil come off. I'll take what I can get. Well, so far it's extremely frustrating, and I'm discouraged because it's really, really slow progress. I will say I'm not a huge fan of the alcohol liquid thing because it's really just making a big mess of things. And the best results that I've been getting is when I put dry ice directly on the asphalt after the foil has been pulled back. So lace them out, pull the foil, and then lay out some more, smack it with a hammer, and that's when the asphalt is coming up in nice good sized chunks. Other than that, it's just picking at it with your nail, and it's really, really slow going, and it's messy. So it's making me really, really, really regret doing this to my truck ever, but I gotta get it out, so we carry on. What do you do?
Well, on day 2, the truck sat inside at about 60 degrees overnight, and I decided to just start pulling just to see how some of this was going to go. It's time consuming, it's arduous, but it's leaving a lot cleaner surface behind, and I'm not going to have to go back through and do a lot of scraping and things like that. So I don't know, it's hard to say which setup or system is better. None of them are fun, none of them are easy, but it does work. And doing the just pull method, a little bit sweaty, but it does come up, and it's not coming up in layers so much as all at once and taking all the adhesive with it. So I don't know, it's hard to say what works better.
And there we have it. This is what I scraped and scraped and scraped to get off. Asphalt belongs under your car on the roadway, not inside your car and not inside your lungs from this stuff being in your cab. So, lesson learned, don't do what I did. And don't use peel and seal asphalt product on your floors. Stuff is nasty, doesn't belong there. Okay, there's 2 days that I'll never get back again, but it's worth it.
So now that I've gotten the nasty peel and seal asphalt stuff taken out of the interior of my truck, let's talk a little bit about what I'm going to be installing instead. So while I made that video all about the life hack and how I'm going to be installing this to save money and all that stuff, this company called SecondSkin reached out to me and they're like, dude, you really don't want to use that stuff in your interior. It gives off nasty gases and it can catch fire. So you really should be using a better product like ours. So I said, well, all right. You have my attention because my kids and my wife are going to be riding in this truck with me. So tell me why yours is better. So they said, well, number one, our stuff is made in the United States of America. It's family-owned business, run by veterans. It's got the highest safety rating, not only automotive, but marine, rail, things like that. It's self-extinguishing. So not only is it fire-resistant, it's self-extinguishing. And it doesn't give off harmful gases when it gets hot. They said, tell you what, we're going to send you some of our stuff. Give ours a try, but you got to get that old nasty peel and seal out of your cab. So I said, all right, you got yourself a deal. So here it is. I'm actually going to be opening up and unboxing it with you right now. I have not seen this stuff other than talking to them, being on their website and stuff like that. It sounded really impressive. So let me just throw that there. This box is 43 pounds. Okay. Now I don't know if I'm going to be using all of it, but that's what they sent us for about the square footage of our interior. 43 pounds here. This, I believe, is the thermal blanket, and this is 14 pounds. So altogether here, you're looking at about 50 pounds of product, potentially, that we could be putting into our cab. But there's our pro tips for installation. One of the other features about SecondSkin audio is their adhesion is supposed to be some of the best stuff out there. So this is the Pro Pack, okay, and it says caution, sharp objects are inside. I'm going to open it with a sharp object. So this is kind of cool because you guys are seeing it for the first time just like I am, and oh, that is super cool. Check that out. I love that it's got their logo on that. Hopefully that's showing up on camera in the reflection, but I love the finish. That's really, really beautiful. Okay, cool. So check this out. When I peel that back just a little bit, there's our adhesive. Okay, there's the butyl, not asphalt. That's the butyl. And then we have the foil layer there. And then the foil, instead of being silver on the floor, it's that matte black. That's really sharp. I'm genuinely impressed. Other than seeing a picture online of this stuff, I didn't know what to expect. But that's really awesome. Let's open the second box here that they sent me. And I'm pretty excited to be a part of Team SecondSkin. Again, I'm not a audio competition guy. I'm seriously just a trucker and a mechanic. But when they saw the Curtis Lowe project, I sent them some pictures and some videos of what we've been doing so far, and they were like, heck yeah, looks good to us. Oh, check that out. That is awesome. All right. Foil on the front and the back. And then there's our insulating material in the middle. That's awesome. So there's 2 blankets in here. That is plenty. Wow, that's really impressive. And I'm sure, you know, you could use this indoors, you could use this in the headliner. There's all kinds of different ways this could be utilized. Very, very cool. Oh, come on now. tell, I'm not a professional unboxer either. This is going to be some promotional that they sent us. I'm pretty sure, some t-shirts, some stickers, things like that. So, it's awesome. The boys and I are proud to be a part of Team SecondSkin. Yeah, heck yeah. That's pretty rad. Some t-shirts there. Some more stickers and stuff for like at the bottom of your cup holder and stuff like that. That's awesome. Okay, some installation tools. Let me open those up. Those are going to be helpful when it's time to put the sound deadening down on the floor. Wood handle roller. Heck yeah. And, oh, okay. Some tape. And that's also going to be really helpful for our installation. All right. Cold weather aluminum foil tape. So I should have absolutely everything here that I need in order to properly do the installation of sound deadening on Curtis Low. And I should have done this the first time. I'm regretting that I ever went with the cheap, easy route and ended up costing myself, well, I wasted 60 bucks, but I also wasted 2 days of learning a tough lesson of what not to do. And so I have learned my lesson to do it right the first time, and I hope you will too. And so I can't wait to get this stuff installed. So I'm going to start by just sort of kind of planning out where I want my sheets to go in whole pieces before I have to make any trimming and things like that. So kind of plan it out best I can and then put a game plan together of how to cover the tunnel and things like that. I should have plenty that they sent me. This is going to be awesome. Here we go. All right, I definitely want to wear some gloves because the edges of this stuff can be really sharp. See the foil edge there? You can get, it feels a little bit like a paper cut, so just to be on the safe side, nice grippy thin glove you can feel. And I've already kind of laid it in there and gotten an idea of where I want it, getting lined up like I want to. And it might make for a cleaner install if I didn't overlap anywhere at all, but I actually am allowing myself a little bit of an overlap on the edge. Not a lot, but for better or for worse, that's how I'm doing it. I'm sure that there's installers that can do a much better job than I can. And there's been some pieces that I've already kind of laid in here that I peeled only as I went. In other words, I started at the front and peeled away underneath as I press it in. But this one I'm going full stick first try, just because I want to make good time. There we go. Here's where I want it. I'm going to start by pressing it in just with my hand, running my heel of my palm across it, back and forth, getting it down into every single groove that I possibly can. And my floor has some seams in it, so just kind of working as I go back. They did give me a wooden roller tool, so I'm using that in some of these really small spots. And if it looks like I'm going to get a bubble or a wrinkle where I don't want it, I'll stop and I might cut a slit in it or something like that that might help out to make it lay that much nicer for a cleaner install. But again, I am not that fussy with this floor, and I'm going to be really happy with it actually kind of smoothing out the floor a little bit for me and getting rid of some of those voids that I didn't like being in the floor anyway. So it's actually fine with me if it's filling in some low spots. But obviously I want good adhesion, and there is some flexibility once it's down, so go back over a little bit. I'm not pressing super hard, because if you press really hard, then you start leaving grooves in the aluminum. I don't want to do that. I don't want to leave a whole bunch of lines behind either, so I have used even the handle a little bit. I found my soft mallet works really good in some spots as well. But just kind of experimenting, learning as I go. That's how I kind of do everything. It's just learn as I go. Figure out what works, what doesn't work, and make mistakes. That's what this episode is all about, learning from my mistakes. So there you have it. That's kind of in real time, one piece. I'm happy with that. Just move on to the next one. Building it as I go. Then I'll come back once I get the center section done, and I'll work on the tunnel a little bit. And I'm just sort of getting close and allowing a little bit of overlap. Because again, I think a little bit of overlap looks better, looks a little bit cleaner than if I tried to have edge to edge maybe. And I don't mind it being a little bit thicker in some spots. This is such a thin product. I think it looks just fine overlapped a little bit.
So one of the things that I decided as I'm starting to lay some of this on the tunnel and along by the doors and things like that is I'm going to cut it the long way on a few pieces. And so it's 12 inches wide. I'm just finding center. It cuts really easy with like a heavy scissors. So no big deal. It's not an exact science, but I figured, you know, that's going to make things a little bit easier and lay in there, a little simpler. And there's going to be some overlap in some spots, but this stuff is laying so nice. Even when there's a wider overlap, you almost can't tell where the seams are at. It's beautiful. It looks really good.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm happy with how everything is adhering to the floor, and I've found that using a rubber mallet in certain spots seems to really help kind of mush it in and get it in some of those really tight spots. And of course the roller works for the flatter areas, but the contours in this floor have some really difficult areas, and I'm impressed that the SecondSkin is just sticking right in there. Sometimes there's wrinkles, but I'm trying to keep those to a minimum. You're gonna have some, that's just the nature of the beast. But yeah, all in all, it's going really well. And I'm far from a professional installer, but you know, if I can do this, I'm just a normal dude that works on his own stuff. You definitely can too. It's not rocket science. It's pretty straightforward and simple. And yeah, I'm happy.
Man, I'm sure glad that that part of the project is over with. That was no fun scraping all this stuff off my floor. But truth is, my family and I should not be breathing the gases that come off this tar and asphalt when the floors of the truck get hot. Plus, it's flammable, so belongs in the trash. SecondSkin is not flammable. That's one of the things that I thought was really impressive about it. It's actually self-extinguishing. It's made in the United States of America. It's family owned, it's run by veterans, and they have the highest safety ratings. It's really easy to work with the adhesive, and it's got that foil backing on it, so it's got the thermal barrier to it, and yeah, stuff is awesome. So if you guys are in the market for sound deadening yourselves, go check out SecondSkin. They do a lot of audio sound deadening, not only in automotive, but home and office and things like that as well. This stuff was awesome to work with. They have a whole bunch of different products on their website, so go check them out. And I know that sound deadening really isn't for everybody. If you're building a race car or a semi-truck or something like that, it does add weight to your vehicle. To me, it was worth it. I'm going to put down here in the corner of the screen how much weight I actually added to my truck, simply because I weighed the box of product before, and now I'm going to weigh the product again after what I have left over, okay, and that's going to tell me how much I installed. So anyway, if you guys enjoy this kind of content, you know what to do. You don't need me to beg you for it, but thanks for coming along, and I'm going to get busy with seats and seat belts and move on to putting the box on this thing and finally get this project wrapped up. So thanks for coming along, everybody. See you next Saturday. Peace and goods.